Why, hello there. Hope you all enjoying SNES Super Stars, a collection of the best speedrun categories and randomizers for the classic Super Nintendo. A lot of fun stuff on here. So, tell me, Reg, what are boots used for in this game?
In this game, boots are the go fast item. They let you go so fast, they'll let these runners go inside the walls and all sorts of general nonsense places. Because today, for you guys, the next round of this marathon, we're bringing you a Link to the Past Overworld Glitches randomizer. We've got absolute madmen, Hacksaww and hXcjedders going to be running this for you guys.
Yep, so we decided it was time to reintroduce the world to some overworld glitches in the middle. For those not familiar with this particular category, basically, it takes off a lot of requirements to get to places that you're normally not used to. For example, the only thing that you technically need to access Landmola's room would be the lamp or fire rod, so we can actually unlock the door. But otherwise, we start with the boots automatically. A lot of the mirror requirements are basically gone now, as we open up to some red rupees in Link's house. We'll probably see runners hop on over to the right. Gonna hop down into Lake Hylia, see what's on that island. Ooh, I missed what was on the map.
Had that in the map check. That was a pendant at Eastern Palace and crystals elsewhere.
Both runners are going to go ahead and opt and get that book. The only thing that it's really needed for is to grab what's on the tablets and to actually see what's on that, so go ahead and hop that now. This game has some funky mechanics if you transition from specific pixels, so it does this auto walk effect where you basically walk down half a screen, and just like that, we've got what's on the island. Probably see both runners go straight to the hospital at this time around.
Yeah, and at the very least, we'll be seeing a lot more of those clipping auto walk type shenanigans. They're really the bread and butter of this category. In fact, you can see Jedders going for another one right there.
Yep, Jedders is actually hopping straight over to Hobo at this point. So he's gonna run on over like he did last time, and then he's gonna do some fake flippers, and then make his way over to Hobo really fast. Meanwhile, we get to see what's at the house. For light green pendant is that Turtle Rock.
I like seeing green pendant there because, as the category says, overworld glitches. Once you get in dungeons, can't really do anything special or unusual. Although Turtle Rock does have its numerous entrances you can get to, so might see some fun there later on.
Yep, unfortunately, you can't really skip much in Turtle Rock. You still need the cane just to even get to Trinex, and there's a whole lot of locations locked by that cane. But we do have that early bow at St. And then a little bit of cash at Hobo. So far, we're not so much money, so might be a bit short for getting Bottle Vendor if Hacksaww doesn't find anything in Lost Woods along the way there. Oh, never mind.
He's good. Early bow, pendant Eastern Palace. It's a bit of an unusual combination for any sort of Link to the Past randomizer, but I'm a big fan of making early pendant Eastern plays in pretty much any mode. So, looking forward to seeing if either of these guys goes.
I mean, it's like I'd do early light world dungeons regardless if they're pendants or crystals. At least the initial checks. Right. Oh, guess we're not hopping to Aga this time. There are very few combinations of items where you are forced to do Aghanim in this.
Yeah, that lumberjack is going to be the primary one, but as we saw, nothing there today.
Oh hey, we got a sword already. Gives us a little bit easier access on some of the clips. So another byproduct of the super speed state is some angled ledges you can just walk right through and just hop right off.
Yeah. Less exciting side effect of that state is that you can't swing the sword that you have, but for most of these, that's not going to be that big of a deal.
Next, I was going to grab a few bombs from here really fast from the guaranteed drop from these bonk rocks. Jared won't have to because he's already got some bombs. Did not see if he bought bombs or if we found. No, he didn't do any pulls yet.
I'm pretty sure he bought them in the Lake Hylia shop. We got 5 items coming up here. That's a moon pearl.
Well, that by itself takes away Aghanim ever being needed logically.
That's always good to hear, because I know in Overworld glitches, the moon pearl can be in a lot of really silly locations, like in Ganon's Tower, for example. Actually, I believe it can. I might be a little rusty on that and misremembering.
Pearl for Ganon's Tower, not in logic. At least, I don't think it is yet. There's been some logic updates that I've not completely 100% up on, but the biggest thing on the logic for this one is being fairly easily accessible. There is they call it a one-frame clip that you can do as a bunny to get into Ganon's Tower, but not very fun to Might be able to do a mirror trick to clip into GT without Moon Pearl bot.
Got Jedders. He dashed off the side of the hole in the Lost Woods and water walks on that. That takes him straight to Ice Rod Cave. And I think there's going to be some fun stuff he can do after this to get back to the rest of the world.
Some fun stuff. So we've got an early flute. Flute is actually not needed at all in Overworld glitches, but if you find it early, and more preferably right in Kakariko like we did right now, it just gets us around the world a lot faster.
Yeah, you can use these clips to get pretty much anywhere you want in the world, but I'm never going to say no to being able to do it with 3 buttons instead of however many A presses it takes you to clip.
Where is Jedders going? Oh, he set up a water walk and almost forgot to do that. He's gonna go ahead and hop on over to Waterfall, and see what's on the ledge.
I think he was trying to go for a fake flipper setup to preserve his water walk state for Zora Ledge, but this is Overworld glitches. You can just clip onto the ledge and you don't need to preserve that.
Yeah, and especially since he doesn't have money for Zora right now, so there's no extra gain for doing it that way quite. Meanwhile, from Race Game Hacksaww does a clip and he hops straight to the back of Desert. I looked away just enough so I didn't see what that ledge was.
Ledge item was just a piece of heart, nothing terribly special. Inside the dungeon is going to be a lot more interesting.
Meanwhile, Jedders, she's going to do a teleport. Is going to take him past the screen border on the top, so he's kind of wandering around in the middle of Death. And then from here, series of transitions and moving around, and he will end up I think right by the end of Paradox, or is it straight into Spiral? One of those two. I think he messed up the movement a little. So, that is one of the worst skewer clips. That particular application isn't required by logic, but there's another way around that's within logic. Some of the things that logic tries to avoid are things where you can easily get the infinite scroll lock.
Yeah, there's like 4 other ways up Death Mountain and from east to west and west to east anyways. That one would have saved him a fair bit of time just because he was already in the area for it. But, since he hard reset, he's got to go back, get some of that stuff out of the Lost Woods and Cack, like his sword. It's unfortunate.
Alright, so I think we didn't find too terribly much in desert.
I think Hacksaww found a second sword. He got one from somewhere. I didn't quite catch where it was.
I think it was Big Chest. But yep, so we don't need mirror or dark world access to come up here to Bombo's tablet to get a mirror.
That's a great way to rub in that lack of a requirement.
From here, we can hop on over to K45. Just for 5 rupees, no big deal. We'll probably see Death Mountain from Hacksaww now. Possibly finish up Shore.
Yeah, Death Mountain is the more dense location right now. Although without mitts, going to the Dark World right away while you're up there slightly lessens the appeal, I guess. But we'll see.
I mean,
looks like it is the mountain.
Yeah, we do have access to everything in Dark Death Mountain except for, except for most of T-Rock itself and Spy Cave.
Yeah, you're right. I totally forgot about the exposed portal on the west side. That's my mistake.
So that was Death Mountain Ascent on Hacksaw's side. That's a traditional method in doing that. Wrap past the screen a little bit, transition right, and then you do have to scroll your camera up a bit, because if you're too far off screen, it'll make that transition ultra slow. Like, takes a couple minutes for it to actually transition you to the cave.
Okay, and it looks like, I think this clip from Hacksaww he's trying will take him just right up to the top of the mountain and into Hera, just as a shortcut to the normal climb. And yep, there's the stairs, and there he is.
So, how that works. The game actually stores Link's position in 2 different ways at the same time. It extracts Link in relation to the screen itself, so if you hop past the bottom, it will think Link is on the top of the screen. But it also stores his global position, and we'll see this on some other applications later on, where even though you hop to the top of a screen, if you were to transition, the game thinks you're somewhere else. And when used properly, it can take you to, like, right outside Swamp Palace from there.
Yeah, the Super Drop is probably the single most cool application I've seen in Overworld glitches. That looks fantastic. But for now, we've got Hacksaww going through Hera, found a big key and a map. So, 2 items to find. And just as a reminder to the audience here, we say Overworld glitches, dungeons are not the Overworld. Gotta do this the old-fashioned way.
Yep, there's another fun game mode that you'll see within the glitch community. They call it no logic, where basically everything except EG is allowed, and it's basically like doing fast Ganon with an arbitrary number of crystals, functionally, and you can get away with only beating like 2 bosses and get every crystal that way. But we don't get to see that today, so that was a nice clean Moldorm fight from Hacksaww to get that red rupee.
And there is still one in the basement. We saw a map and a compass, and he's holding a small key. So, but he can't get to it. No lamp, no fire rod.
Unfortunately. But he's got that mirror, so if we really wanted to, we could see a laser bridge play. But not strictly recommended right now, when there's a ton of things to do. So the main problem with routing glitch modes is you have so much available at the very start. So we still haven't seen Shore yet. We still haven't seen Mini Moldorm yet, I don't think. And,
no, we haven't.
And we haven't seen Hyrule Castle yet. So those are common starting plays that you used to in glitch lists, are typically orphaned for quite a while in the glitch modes, especially overworld glitches.
Yeah, they're just sitting right there, but there's no reason to go them when you can go to the desert, you can go to Death Mountain, you can go to Eastern Palace, you can go to the Dark World, you can go wherever you want.
Yep. And you can go to inside Spectacle Rock and grab that bombos to give us, well, once we get some extra items, we can do stuff in Ice Palace.
If I remember right, the current logic for that is just find the flippers, since they already have the sword to use bombos.
Logically, it's still going to... No, we learned something new today, right before this. There is now a method that only requires flippers to enter Ice Palace in Dark World access. Dark World mobility access.
Well, they've gotten the moon pearls, so that and... Oh, here's a map check. There's a pendant in Palace of Darkness. I think the 5-6 were Swamp and Skull Woods.
What was the last pen? Oh yeah, that was T-Rock. So we call this Turtle Rock Climb, even though this time we're not going to Turtle Rock. We'll probably see Hacksaww hop into to Super Bunny Cave, then take a jump down. Finish off Light Wolves first, and then probably clip around to Catfish afterwards once he's done with this set of checks.
8 items in the Light World, then what? 3 to 6 more, depending on how confident he is in his hovers, in the Dark World. And then, yeah, hopping down to Catfish is a perfectly feasible option right after that. I don't think Hacksaww did Zora earlier. I think that was just Jedders, so he could mirror down there as well.
He'll mirror there and actually be able to check Zora, since he'll have the cash for that. All 3 of those models almost charge straight to their death into the same bomb. As we find 2 shields in Paradox. And flippers. So that's our Ice Palace. Jedders is going to hop in and finish and do Hera really fast.
Can also get 1 chest in Swamp Palace if they really, really want to. I don't recommend that play, though.
Not chat. Heck, I was trying to see what's over here. Just a bug net. Then we'll see Hacksaww probably hop into Super Bunny first, then exit, hop down. Well, I'm not sure if I'll hop down for 1 item, but he can hover though.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure I've seen him hovering a few times before.
Yeah, so...
And even
To get
Even if not,
into
sorry.
Hookshot Cave without any lifting upgrades, you just hop from the top. Or he's also got mirror, so he could run all the way left if he wanted to and mirror wrap over there, which is it's fun little glitch. But what he's gonna do, he's gonna find the specific bump on this ledge, then he's going to clip through it. He's gonna land on top of that little island you see down there. Hop down again, and now he is on that island and trying to find his way to those stairs, and there it is.
And in the meantime, Jetter's treading on his way up to the Moldworm fight. That's going to be a quick 3 spins from him, I imagine. As long as nothing goes wrong, at least.
So, piece of art. When you start seeing that hover, try and get rid of that bar really fast. And Moldorm is down on Jetter's side. Hacksaww is doing a diagonal movement. But oh well. He's gonna leave this alone for right now. It's not in logic quite yet. Let's see. Looks like he's going to hop into Turtle Rock instead. He only has access to a few locations without Kane.
He can bonk onto this. Going backwards, he can get the lava chest and the chain chomp room. And if he goes forward, I think he can only get to the crystal roller room. So 3 locations total, a 4th if the big key is available, right?
So we got this chest. We've got access to 2 chests right now. And then no big deal to use up the small key. Sometimes the medallion is logically required, but if you play your key placements right, you can always skip whatever medallions needed to open this. Piece of art, so we got Chain Chomp left. This is a special logic that takes into account the glitches that are being used. So sometimes you can actually have Moon Pearl found in this dungeon. Got a small key here.
He
Nothing
has the mirror, but Death Warp's probably just as fast.
Nothing much else that can be done. Oh, he's gonna hop on over to Spiral Cave from here.
Good place to end the Death Mountain routing. I don't think there's anything else he can do on the mountain, although he can jump back down to, say, Catfish afterwards. In the Light World, that would just be down to Zora, though.
Yeah. Not a way with that layout to clep out of there from the Dark World side, unfortunately. Well, you might be able to manipulate your mirror portal so you can hop off if you get lined up on Light World side. Alright, so Overworld glitches. This is our favorite place to reload from for my saving quit. What we'll probably see, we'll see a clip up to here again, or at least hop over here, but go straight to Portal. There we go. Portals still work even though you can't.
And then from here, he can go a few different places. Is this the super drop, or is this somewhere else?
Yeah, he's doing a super drop. So he should end up by Swamp Palace. He'll transition left and be right there.
And there you go, fastest travel in the West.
Yep. And then he just hopped on here so we can reset that camera. So how the game is laid out internally. So all your dungeons and a lot of caves that have more than one entrance to it will be on the same map in memory. And then some of the few other random locations, say like this cave that we're in, Hype Cave, it's on its own special map. So whenever you hop into, we call it the main underworld map, the main EG map, and exit it, it does reset your camera and reload it. But if you like hop into Hype Cave after messing up your camera in the overworld, it does not reset your camera and you still have messed up graphics or a messed up position.
And while you were explaining that, we did see the power glove in that Hype Cave from Hacksaww. Doesn't open up quite as much as it does in No Glitches, but certainly not useless by any means.
Yep. Then also at the same time, we see Jedder setting up for something special, so he's fluting over to Link's house. What he did was he wrapped around on Death Mountain and set a mirror portal in a very specific spot. So when he runs over to Hyrule Castle Courtyard, you'll see that mirror portal is on the left-hand side, but he's going to do a few checks before he does that. But what that's going to do once he hops into that portal, and the alignment is kind of precise, but not too terribly. But that's just going to let him walk right into Pyramid Fairy.
So that's a really easy 4 checks for him, even if he chooses not to go into the castle at all, which not unusual to see the castle orphaned till more towards the hour mark, as you previously mentioned.
Yeah, but right now, since you're already in the areas, tends to be the best time, especially with that mirror in hand. We might not see that, we might not see Dark Cross or anything unless we find a lantern, or we might see it anyways. Like, especially with boots, it's a very easy set of dark rooms to do, and it's really easy to navigate and find that chest with boots.
Yeah, there's a bonk setup or two that you can use to find the chests in the dark. And then you can get back to the back 3 if you really want to. And there he's grabbing the key, which is a sign that he might be interested in doing that. And to answer a question in chat, both of these runners found the Bombos medallion inside of Spectacle Rock.
Okay, where is Hacksaww gonna go now? Looks like Mini Moldorm Cave for us.
He already cleared out Mini Moldorm Cave.
That's right, he's going back to his portal. If he really wanted to, he can hop into Ice Palace from right here. It's not a fun time yet. There's still plenty of things to do in the Dark World, and at least one crystal dungeon he can finish off right now.
Yeah. One thing that hasn't changed from the normal glitchless logics that people are more used to, Ice Palace without a hammer is not good times.
Yeah. This is a special showcase run brought to you just for SNES Super Stars. Oh hey, we got our first bottle finally.
There are some things that can be done with that, besides the usual sick kid checks. Although I don't think we'll see them anytime soon. Looks like this is going to be a clip into the Misery Mire area. Yeah,
since we know it's a crystal, we do want to at least see what that requirement is. And it's fairly... I think that was ether.
Looked like ether to me.
So, what we are missing. So we do need hookshot for swamp palace. We need fire rod for skull woods. We need cane for mire, ether, and hammer to be in go mode.
So you mentioned the dark rooms earlier. We do see on Jedder's screen, he is, I think this is the last one before he gets to the back sewers with the 3 chests.
Yeah, looks
so.
Yeah, he's in the key rat room. Yep, and then from here, Hacksaww is going to go down. Look, where is he? Oh, he still needs to check out well, there's our ice rod that we don't really need.
Nah, just on the off chance that Trinex or Sahasral is holding something, but I wouldn't gamble on that this early.
No,
Not a bad thing to have, just in case, though.
Yeah, as far as go mode is concerned, the only 2 items it could be would be ether or hookshot. Well, no, or hammer. It can be hammer too. On Trinex.
That would be so disgusting. I don't even want to think about it.
Why? You're not the one that has to do this.
No, I'm not, but I come from a glitchless background primarily, where that's just absurd. Awful. We did see Jedders pick up a blue boomerang on the pyramid there. I know a lot of runners like having that just for general utility, and surprisingly useful in Ganon's tower for hitting switches.
Very useful. So what Hacksaw's going to do, he's going to start this digging game and hope it's a low dig count to get that item. Then from here, there's a series of 2 clips that he's going to use, and it's going to take him straight up to Village of Outcast. And he'll probably do that even while the timer is going, even though you'll get that message in the middle of the clips. But this will be what lets us bypass needing mitts to get to Outcast from here. Oh, just some. Yep. So the only other thing that mitts is strictly going to be needed for in this logic is to actually access, not lumberjack, blacksmiths and purple chest. But there is a special trick that we can do. So like, all you have to do is turn that blue potion into red or green, doesn't matter which, and then it'll let you do some funky things with barriers and let you go straight there.
Yeah, I think that there are edge cases where it could be required for King's Tomb access logically, but I think a clip exists for that as well.
Yeah, you can get to clean with Overworld glitches. You can basically go straight to King's Tomb if you really wanted to.
I can't remember logic accounting, if logic accounts for that. I think I was told once that it didn't, but that was also a long time ago, and it may have changed even if.
Yeah, I have to look at the logic files again. Especially, I haven't looked at the logic file yet since V31 release. But I know there's been some pretty big changes.
We do have both runners in different unexplored dungeons. Hacksaww found a cape in the front of Thieves Town. Jedders is clearing out Palace of Darkness. He has a bow, so he'll be able to get everything except Helmswar King.
Yeah, he's chasing that early bow, even though we know both bow lock dungeons are pendants. He's trying to do a mimic clip.
It looks cool. I mean, you have the bow, man.
Yeah, but it's fun seeing these mimics moon slide out of the screen. And the game's like, okay, close enough.
Yeah, no arguing with that one at all. That did look, and there's a hook shot.
So chasing that early bow trail does pay off. With that being a pendant, like, we'll probably see Hacksaww completely clear out Ice Palace before considering, and possibly even the front part of Swamp Palace before considering Pod.
Well, that assumes that we find a hammer somewhere,
Oh,
which
yeah.
admittedly seems likely, but
It's still hard to say. Oh, did Hacksaww not do much in Thieves? Huh.
I think he first floor unveiled. I didn't see him get anything except the cape, though.
Shadows to Bomb Physics. We have Jedders, looks like in Dark Maze right now.
Doesn't look like he got anything
Nope,
of
he's
value
in
for
basement.
that test. Will be in Dark Maze shortly. So there is a no clip to get into the back of Skull Woods without a fire rod, is there?
Not into, but back. We absolutely need the fire rod on that. So even if you ended up on top of the entrance itself isn't activated until it's actually opened. Much the same with like if you do somehow ended up on top of the entrance in Mire, it's not open, actually technically active until the entrance itself is.
Alright, which means we absolutely need the fire rod for go mode this season to clear it. And then, do you remember where Hacksaww found his third sword? Because Jedders found a tempered sword in the big chest of Palace of Darkness, and that's somewhere Hacksaww, who already has tempered, hasn't been.
I don't remember. It was it was somewhere between Hype Cave stuff and Mire. I know we had it before he entered Mire area.
It may have been Stumpy then. Regardless, though, that ether off of the catfish is gonna be pretty big. Jedders absolutely has to get over there at some point. And Hacksaww can go on a Misery Mire Wild Goose Chase if he wants to now.
Yep, and then Hacksaww has not done Dark Death Mountain, I don't think.
I think he was doing it earlier because we talked about him potentially clipping down the catfish after doing it.
Hacksaww did.
He hadn't seen Zora yet.
Yeah, Hacksaww hopped into Turtle Rock instead. Jedders ended up somewhere different after doing Hera.
Oh, you're right. I totally misheard you there. I'm sorry.
That's right. After Hera, Jedders decided to set up for Pyramid Club or Pyramid Portal, and that's what led us to here. Jedders is just going to continue chasing the trail from the bow to see if we see anything else for it. Oh yeah, that cape out of the way that Hacksaww found, not needed for anything.
And not bad to have if you want to do something like Spike Cave, but not strictly necessary by any means.
Yeah, it looks like Jedders is going to go ahead and do Dark Death Mountain now, and then we'll have a much easier time with Hookshot Cave with A hook shot?
Yeah, that tends to help a little bit.
Just
My
a touch.
experience, at least.
And then Hacksaww is heading down to Pyramid now. Not sure if we'll see him hop on over to Pod or not. Oh, never mind. Hxjedders is going to Thiefstown area. Hop on over and see what is on Bumper Ledge really fast. Possibly dip into Skullwood's front part.
Front of Skull Woods is always a solid check. A good chance of at least 1 or 2 items, and pretty quick to boot.
Yeah. So, nothing of value for Bumper Cave. And Hxjedders is going straight to Outcast.
Is Hacksaww doing something fun with those bombs, or just having a giggle?
Not sure. Can't think of anything that would set up.
Well, he does have his portal set up for the pyramid, as we can see here. Of course, I think the only thing he'll get a value out of this entire series of checks, if I remember, no, that hookshot was in Palace of Darkness. I don't think there was anything of value in the Castle Pyramid area.
Nope, not at all. Other than that ice rod in the back.
And he just took the gloves right into that one instead of having to do everything in the dark like Hxjedders did.
Yeah. I think we'll see Hxjedders risk orphaning whatever's in Big Chest this time. A closer look at the 4 items here. So we know Big Key is one of them. I'm not sure if we found any other items besides... I don't remember if he found a second item or not.
I think it was a compass. Not 100% sure. Oh, never mind. There was a second item there.
So we got 2 out of 4 items. I think it's worthwhile just to continue and risk Big Chest being an item at this point.
It's a 50-50, which sometimes you take those in rando.
Yeah. This is a smart one to take anyway.
Also, to clarify for chat a little bit, in Link to the Past Randomizer, boomerangs are vaguely useful for the general things like stunning enemies, activating switches from a distance, collecting drops, and whatnot. But I call them useless because they don't progress the game, they don't open up any new locations. So whether they're actually useful or not, really up to the runner, but they don't open anything new up.
Alright, let's see where Hacksaww goes. From here, I'm guessing he's heading to Pod. So he's gonna find his hook shot. Then probably go straight to Swamp after that.
We're still missing the hammer to make Swamp a really good play, though.
You're right. Forget we can't skip hammer ever.
We are narrowing down the locations it can actually be, though, so I'm sure we'll find it eventually.
Yep, and we still only have access to 3 items in GT. So, GT entry is in logic, but there's not much we can do. But I've seen some triple dip GT progressions before. We got bombs there. I didn't see what was by the bombable hole, that hole upstairs.
I took note of it, then I immediately forgot about it, which means it was definitely junk of some form. Whether it's dungeon item junk or actual item junk, I can't remember.
Yep, and we're not going to see a menu before the end of this.
But the good news is that he'll get his second crystal out of this. Just got to be careful though on just 2 hearts, and there's blind down.
And there we go. Okay, so that looks like an item that's orphaned off for now. Because maiden chest was a compass, right? I didn't forget that already.
No, the maiden chest was bombs, and neither of us can remember what the upstairs was. But still, decent chance of an item orphan there.
Yep, so Hacksaw's got his hook shot. Cave was in the first floor.
Yeah, first floor is unfortunately not upstairs.
Okay, so what we haven't seen so far was those 3 chests in Hookshot Cave. As far as accessible things, can't do anything with Mimic Cave yet, or Spike Cave.
There is still the front, however many chests in Skullwoods for up to 2 items.
Yep, we've got that. We've got 3 items in GT. And I think that's all the stuff that we haven't seen that we can access right now. Well, no, we've got Ice Palace. A couple chests in Ice Palace.
It's really just a bunch of locations that you don't want to go to because you can only partially complete them. It's the most obnoxious state to be in.
I mean, we technically have access to the Laser Bridge, but that's pretty far out of logic by itself, I think, still. Yeah, so the glitching that we saw on Jedder's sides, like whenever you go from one effect to a screen that's supposed to have one effect to a screen that doesn't have it, or the opposite way around, you'll get some funky effects going on. Since you skip the trigger for the game to load those different effects. Okay, Hacksaw's hopped on over to Eastern as well. Jedders is gonna hop into Hype Cave really fast.
You'll get a glove and really not much else.
Yeah, glove is typically not too useful by itself in this mode.
I think... Does it actually open any locations on the overworld? I know it makes a few easier, but I can't remember if it opens anything.
Checkerboard Cave. It'll open to the back of the escape if we don't have that small key. And Jedders looks like he is trying to mirror up into Ice Palace.
Alright, one of these plays has to pay off for these guys, so why not this one?
Yep, so if you don't get that mirror reps, like basically you have to hit mirror the same frame you transition on the overworld, and you keep transitioning back and forth, you get these fun little junk tiles. But anyways, hi Ice Palace.
And we get to watch the world's slowest animation. Without the hammer, though, your ability to make checks in this dungeon is incredibly restricted. I think it's just 3 chests. The penguin room south of here, and then a couple more upstairs.
Yeah, you can get one right above Big Chest. You can possibly get Big Chest if you get the big key by then. You can get to Iced Tea, and you can get to that, and you can get that chest in the spike room.
So that's potentially 4 chests.
Yes,
But Jedders is going nowhere without saving.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like 2 checks, 3 items that you can't access without hammer. Sitka gives us nothing. Ooh, Hacksaww has a powder, so what he's gonna do, and I really hate doing this clip when you have flippers, for that reason. Basically, what he was trying to do was, he was trying to find the last possible pixel before hopping off from that ledge, and then you have to do a dash off the ledge, so you hop past the screen transition, and then you hold right, and then you'll get a funky scroll that basically puts you in some sort of water that's somehow right above Magic Bat Cave, and then you can just hop into there from there. Hacksaww is probably going to go ahead and hop into get those last 3 chests in Hookshot Cave really fast, and I think Jedders is going that way as well.
As far as efficiency and not isolating things goes, I think that's their best bet at this point. Although I think Jedders has the rest of the Dark Mountain to do as well, so that helps.
Don't think Hacksaww meant to hop off there, but this works too.
Yeah, this is faster than climbing up the Super Bunny Cave.
Yeah, at that point. Red rupee, piece of hearts, and red rupee. Hookshot Cave is a bust. While you're right here, I'd go ahead and just hop into GT and see what those 3 items you have access to are. And I think that's what he's getting ready to do.
Looks like it, yeah. I mean, his alternative without saving quitting is an out-of-logic laser bridge, so...
Nope, he's doing laser bridge. He's trying to line up so we can get that mirror transition. You gotta be 1 or 2 pixels away from the edge, so you can mirror transition the same frame, do it down left, and it pops you right, and poof.
How convenient that it walks you the exact number of pixels you need to land on that tiny little, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Nothing yet from Laser Bridge. Both dungeon items in here. And a small key. So, Laser Bridge is a bust.
I'm not surprised, just really disappointed. Looks like this might be GT this time for Hacksaww. If not, I have no idea.
GT, possibly Skullwoods. At this point, looks like GT right here. Because there's not really a nice convenient way to Skullwoods other than from right here for right now. With our current equipment.
Right, if you want onto the main Dark World, you do have to jump down from Death Mountain, because no mitts, no hammer. Can't do it the glitchless style.
Well, there's hammer. So we have the entire left side of GT open now.
That's what, like 11 to 14 items, if I remember right, just counting?
Something like that. So 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 if we get a big chest, big key. And Jedders is off to GT as well, gonna get that hammer really soon. Bottle 2. Rupees. And small. But we do have Ice Palace is fully clearable now.
Swamp Palace finally is as well.
And Swamp, yeah. So we're just missing Fire Rod and Cane.
Yeah, that looks accurate. But
And Jedders is missing that ether that is on Catfit. With the checks that he's done, that is a pretty far out of the way location.
I guess his best hope would be dropping down to it after finishing this check, but he's more likely to save and quit out, unfortunately, to go wherever else.
Well, there's lamp, there's our fire source, there's a big key as well. So that unlocks check number 14 that we can do at the big chest.
That unlocks the upstairs hall as well, too.
Oh yeah,
don't it?
Completely upstairs. Yeah. Yeah, you can't just walk straight out of GT. I don't even think... And I think if you tried to mirror from the entrance, you'll get sent right...
Yeah, if I remember right, the entrances to GT and Hair are slightly offset, so you can't do things like that.
Yep. Probably should have checked the big chest before coming this way. That way you can just mirror from the chest outside, right behind Ice Harmos, but this works. Jedders is gonna have his lamp soon. that almost got away, so we almost lost that quick kill. Yep. Ganon still is going to require 7 crystals, or else you will not be able to do any damage in the 4th phase.
But there's absolutely no restriction on when you kill Agatu. You can do that whenever you want, as long as you've got the gear to reach him.
Yep, and then crystal requirements to enter a tower is non-existent, since we only have 1 and 2 crystals right now. Yep, so Hacksaww will just might as well finish off GT while we're here.
You know, it would be really cruel is if they put the cane up here, and then something was on the right side.
Ew. So it would have to be Kane. Well, the only as far as logic is concerned, it would have to be Fire Rod and Tower Room.
Oh yeah, you're right, because that's the only item we're missing. But we've still definitely seen enough small keys to make that completely feasible.
Yeah, I just don't know if they put that bomb jumping logic to do right side without Fire Rod.
I'm pretty sure bomb jumps aren't in logic for any version of the randomizer, so...
Yeah, so other than Tower Room, we won't be seeing anything on right side today.
It's just as well, to be honest. It'd be a really nasty double dip if they had to.
Yeah, but even if we found Kane in here, like, they won't. I can't see anybody going straight back into GT at this point. I sure definitely not going to mirror to go back all the way to the bottom once you get all the way to the top.
Yeah, certainly not. Too many checks available in the rest of the world now between Swamp, Ice, and whatever else you want to go.
There was a set of 4 torches on the almost the last floor in G. That one is in logic to light those torches. It's just a 1 tile gap that you have to stand on, that you have to use it across.
Hey, can you explain how Jedders clipped the mimics into the big door room? Because there were definitely mimics in the big door room, and they gave him a bit of trouble.
I actually missed that one, but basically, if you manage to clip an enemy out of bounds, it will go. They will end up in the room that's right by. But
so
yeah.
When Jedders mimic clipped the second mimic room, that's where it left him.
Yeah, like you'll sometimes see that with the turtles and pods. Like, if in that first dark room, once you enter the basement, if they flip back over on top of the orange blocks, you'll sometimes see him clip all the way down and end up in the portal room. Not very fun to happen when it's dark and you can't figure out what's going on there.
In the meantime, we've got Hacksaww getting through the torch room, showing off the lamp strats because no fire rod. Jedders clearing out the gauntlet, making his way up to the land molars to fight. Just gotta get through this one last room first.
And single arrow with mirror shield. Not necessary anymore, but no big deal. Jedders, go back to one room. I guess with your equipment, doesn't matter how these landmos spawn. The timer for these landmolars actually start as soon as you enter that room with the anti-fairy, or not the anti-fairy, the bunny beam in it. So the longer you spend on here, you'll have landmos that basically spawn at the same.
delaying your entry into the Landmo 2 fight is legitimate strategy when you've got the gold sword, and it's pretty possible to instantly kill them all with it.
Alright, so the top of GT gave us nothing. So we'll see that Swamp Palace play. Then we'll probably see Ice Palace.
We do see Jedders using Bombos in lieu of Can of Samaria to clear out the Wizrobes. Unfortunately, didn't wait for the spawn the first time through, so had to sit through that twice.
Yeah. These Agatu patterns aren't playing very nicely. It really sucks when real Aghanim is so out of sync with the other two that they're firing before you can even figure out where Aghanim is actually going to be.
Yep. He does get it knocked down, though, so not much to worry about there.
What we could possibly see from Hacksaww, even though with as few items that are remaining, we might see a clip where he ends up... Nope, he's not going to do the clip. So there's a clip like right outside Pyramid Screen where that takes you over to Hammer Pegs. But we're going to see Swamp Palace instead. Ton of items in here. Crystal Dungeon, no reason to not do this.
Yeah, with GT down, I think it's the most dense location left in the game, so definitely not a bad play to be making.
Bomb Explosion is not playing very nice for Hexcjedders to destroy that wall. Even though you see that sprite go right over the wall, but oh well.
You see the sprite go over the wall, and you put the bomb on the conveyor belt, and it decides that it wants to stick to the wall instead. Not a fun room.
Alright, Hexcjedders is almost done with the tower.
And we've got 5 more items to find in Swamp Palace on Hacksaw's side. Plus or minus if he decides to skip the left side. We'll see.
Yep, didn't see the map or compass yet. If we see one of those two when we check out this room on the bottom, I would go ahead and check left side anyways. Since we know they're both... Since then we lost that chance of it being double junk.
Jedder's letting his bee out to have a little bit of fun in the Aghanim fight, harass the wizard a bit.
Ganon's tower is being done so early since logically we have easy early access to it with just boots and moon. In logic that is not glitchless, the junk fill is taking it out. So that's why we got our hammer in GT. And unfortunately that was the only thing we actually got out of that. I guess that mushroom too.
Yeah, and you say just the hammer, but the hammer was really bottlenecking the entire seed at this point, so definitely good to have.
Yeah. I think Jedders is let's see if he heads up to Catfish or if he goes to Hammerpegs. Hammerpeg. Do a super speed and you hop over here into the water. So I'm all the way left. You want to exit as far... Oh wow, there's your cane. In the back of the swamp. Anyways. Exit the screen that Jedders on the bottom left and hold up left. And then you'll eventually just pop out just like that.
That cane is really big fine, though. It'll let Hacksaww go right over to Misery Mire when he's done here if he so chooses, and it means the Fire Rod is just unconditional go mode for him.
Okay, just the bottle here. Unfortunately, no cane or powder, so Jedders can't check out what is in Magic. But he hasn't turned in bottle yet to see that it's nothing. But he's floating away. I'm guessing he goes swamp as well. Just wanted to make that quick check really fast before he does that.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we saw a map or a big key in Swamp Palace so far, which means that the left side in the big chest is 3 locations for 1 item. But Hacksaw's going back in for it.
Yeah, at this point, this is definitely what we need to do. Too many out-of-the-way locations at this point, outside of Ice Palace.
Yep, definitely in a race situation, you sometimes gotta be sometimes you can be a bit callous with your calls, I guess I should say, but when the seed's been the way it has, there's no reason not to be thorough at this point and risk leaving something behind.
And then Hacksaww still does need to hop in and finish up Thieves Town as well.
And with that hammer, he doesn't have the risk of isolating that big chest, which we can't remember if it's an item or a compass.
But we'll probably won't see that until after Mire at this point. It's a little bit easier routing to just do Mire now.
Because you can clip into it and then clip back up into the Village of Outcasts area from there.
Hacksaww tried to be a little bit sneaky.
Yeah, it didn't pay for him, though. He wasn't able to get far enough in to push the second block, so gotta reset the room and do it again.
Of course, unfortunately for Jedders, hopping into Mire won't be an option for him. Not until he makes his way back to Catfish. Okay, so that puts Compass in Big Chest, looks like.
And just red mail on left side swamp. Not terrible, but I don't think that's what you'd be happy to see after going that far out of the way.
Okay, it looks like Hacksaww is going to Ice Palace. With a guard that's blocking his way just as he's trying to clip up here.
Ice Palace is a crystal dungeon. It's normally one of the ones that you want to try to go mode if possible, but it's also not an unreasonable play when you can full clear it and you still need an item. And besides that, everybody knows the Fire Rod's always in Ice Palace when you get Bombos early.
Always. Yep, Hacksaww just trying to be a little bit careful. Because you have a few pixel window to be high enough to get out. Because when you transition, it actually puts you a little bit into that little wall on the outside of Ice. But a few pixels past that good point puts you into an infinite scroll.
There's,
Jitter's
unfortunately for
hit.
us, sorry, go on.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that unfortunately for us, it will be a little bit before new ground. Yeah, sorry, before we get new ground in Ice Palace, because Jedders did come in, check this one chest that Hacksaww is getting now, and then left. It's just unfortunately the way Ice Palace is laid out, there aren't any more chests for a little bit. And to answer chat, Fire Rod is the only remaining item for Go Mode.
But I do love that early small key for Ice Palace. Makes it the most convenient overall other than IST chest.
Yeah,
being able still
to...
needs to hop on over to Catfish so he can get that ether medallion so he can enter the mine.
Yeah, that is true, and with what he's got available to him, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw at least Ice Palace first before he considered that.
Definitely. And he doesn't really have any other locations nearby to put him back in there, so it's very unlikely that he will finish off Eastern or Pod. There's just the bosses left in that. Fire Rock cannot be on pedestal because of Turtle Rock being a pendant.
I think the best case scenario for Jedders at this point is he goes and clears Ice Palace, and then he routes Catfish in with the Mushroom Turn-In.
Yeah, that'd be the best thing. Ether is at Catfish. Then we didn't see what the medallion requirement was for. I think we do have that. I think we did get that small key from Chomp's room, so we could continue on back that way.
Yeah, there was a small key in that chest.
There is a method to enter my Ice Palace without MIT.
If you watch,
I think this particular method is actually included in Logic now. Not the one that they actually did, but there's a method that doesn't even require the mirror. It just takes quite a few more screen wraps in order to do that.
Jedders unfortunately having a little bit of trouble finding that last pixel before the transition.
With this particular setup, you can be 2 pixels away at least. Since that first frame left puts you 2 pixels. The key is you have to be exactly 1 frame away so you can hit left and mirror on the same frame. Puts us in this nice little state, find the right pixel, and it does a nice little wrap that puts you... He is almost at that transition right there. So, barely avoids that soft lock. And he's a little bit too far left. There's that door.
And there he is, Ice Palace.
Well, there's Mitz right there, so... Yep,
that's a find.
Yeah. Yeah, so the logically required method to get into Ice Palace is you go to the same place that they did that mirror wrap, except you would do a hop that takes you past the screen a few times, and you basically land in water, and then a few transitions later, you have the same effect that basically lets you bypass that wall. But this mirror wrap method is a lot easier. And goodbye, Cold Stare.
And hello, Silver Arrows. I guess with the gold sword cutting through Cold Stare the way it does, and pretty much every other boss we've got left except maybe Vitreous, Silver Arrow is not the most valuable thing in the world, but certainly will speed up at least Vitreous and Ganon.
But what the gold sword does with that cape is you get a nice little dash strap for Vitreous. Or for that. And then, well, I guess Silver's makes it a lot faster than that, but cape and dashing through Vitreous is fun.
Yeah. Sad that it's really only a viable strategy with the gold sword, because it's fun and it looks really cool.
Alright, Hacksaww is back in Thieves Town. I'm gonna make a quick dip into that. Maybe go ahead and check out Smith's and Purple Chests while he's here. Possibly and then from there hop on down to Meyer to get that finished. Meanwhile, Jedders would since he doesn't have Ether, we'll probably see him. Maybe check out front of Skullwoods first.
I'm still hoping we see the mushroom check from Jedders, and that he just runs up there instead of using the flute. It's not very likely, but that's the best way for him to rat in Catfish at this point.
Possibly do middle entrance or T-Rock exit out the front. Well, no, he'd only have one extra check since he doesn't have Fire Rod.
Yeah, no real easy ways for Jedders to route that in, unfortunately. Just gotta hope that he finds a way to.
And I just missed what this upstairs chest was again in Turtle Rock, or Thieves.
Actually, yeah, I did too. Because I was thinking about how Jedders could get the Catfish routed in. Unfortunately.
Oh well, we'll find out soon enough if it was Compass or not by whether or not Hacksaww goes there. Wait, no. Well,
you'll go there regardless because Blind had the map. Okay, Attic was a compass chat saying, which means big chest is going to be an item. Yeah, I can see the compass on his menu. So, if this is Fire Rod, this is really big.
Yeah. If it's Fire Rod, this... guess not. By item count, Hacksaww is in the lead. They're equal on crystals right now. Hacksaw's about to pull ahead on that one, and then Jedders will be tied up again.
The only big distinguishing factor between these two runs right now is that Jedders does have to get up to Catfish and get that Ether Medallion at some point. If he can get that before Hacksaww finds the Fire Rod, then it's just going to be a straight up who can find the Fire Rod first trade. That's blind down for Hacksaww, just as Jedders is using Bombos to open up Cold Stare's shell. And with the gold sword, that fight won't take more than a couple seconds. So yeah, they'll both be back on 4 crystals tied up momentarily.
Yep, and then Hacksaww will have access to his 5th and 6th. Did we see 2 items in desert or just 1?
I don't think we saw more than 1.
Right now, Jedders has absolutely no idea where Ether is. And then Catfish is now pretty far out of the way check for him.
Well, Jedders will get his magic powder out of this. So that will lead him to turn into mushroom, although if he does that with the flute, it won't necessarily lead him to catfish, unfortunately.
Yeah, not from Light World. So we have Heart on Smiths, and we're going to finally see that magic bat that Hacksaww tried to get to earlier, but unfortunately got stuck in the water instead of transitioning. Yeah, with Gold Sword, Red Mail, and Silver Arrows, Hacksaww is absolutely confident on not needing any more safeties for this particular race. Just some bombs on the bat.
Yeah, with 15 hearts, you could probably cut his total in half and he'd still be just as confident.
Yeah. So he didn't want to turn in that purple chest after all. No big deal.
Well, there's recently discovered tech where if he mirrors while the guy is on screen, he can turn it in without actually dragging it. But if he's going to do that, I don't know why he doesn't just mirror and flute to 7.
Okay. That one's new. Haven't actually seen that one in action yet.
I only know of it because somebody did it in one of the glitchless tournament qualifiers, and I happened to be there to see it. But basically, the gist of it, the way it was explained to me, is that once you mirror, the chest doesn't actually despawn and quit being a follower for a few frames afterwards. So,
Oh, nice. Surprised he didn't just hop back into that portal to go straight to. But we'll probably see a flute to 6 or 7.
yeah, it looks to me like he's trying to just wrap up some of these out-of-the-way overworld checks just on the off chance that he can go mode Meyer and Skullwoods.
Bombo's Tower had mirror. That's right, he's got mitts. He doesn't need that portal for anything.
Yeah.
Ooh, we got that Skull Woods play.
Yep, Jetter's starting in the middle. And then he can go back and check the front. See, Overworld Glitches follows the same rules as No Glitches logic with respect to interior item placements. So there should be a potential item in the pinball room instead of the guaranteed small key, right?
Say that one more time.
V31 allows for such things other than small keys to be in the pinball room of Skullwoods. Overworld Glitches respects that, right?
It should. Basically how... Well, I need to look at the logic get some deeper again, but basically how the glitches works is it starts with the level below it as a base, and then adds additional things that gives you access.
Alright, that's basically what I was thinking it would probably be. So... We've got Godmire on the left side, Hacksaww trying to hover it, but only taking one shot at that before leaving.
Yeah. Fitchreese is so far out of the way that you actually don't even lose time just to go straight to Vidi first before checking the rest of the item. And it's a crystal anyway, so why waste the time with the other checks first?
If you have to go back in, you've got to redo the first couple rooms,
Oh
which...
yeah, that's a pain too.
But it's not a huge time loss compared to having to redo pretty much any other dungeon in the game. It's Hacksaww punts his block trying to get around it.
Best physics ever. Maybe this will lead Jedders over to Catfish for us.
For his sake, really hoping so.
We need Fire Rod so we can actually enter the back of Skull Woods. Yep. The tile itself is not active until the... What is that in front of the entrance? The little trunk or whatever it actually is. As long as that's present, the entrance is not active for you to enter in. So even if you have to wait to somehow end up on top of where the entrance should be, the game will not let you in.
Yeah, I have no idea what that's called. Unfortunately, Jedders fluted away from King's Tomb.
Yeah.
But we'll see where he's going. Hacksaww put a bunch of silver arrows into Vitreous, and that's what, his 5th crystal?
Yep, that is his 5th crystal. We'll see him mirror and go ahead and clear out Des. Now, does Jedders go to... You go straight to Laser Brick, which will at least give him extra key anyway so we can go to the front. Gives him easy access to that roller chest. If he really wants to, check out Mimic Cave along the way to the front. Even if he can't get the chest on the right-hand side of the first from the main entrance, it'll at least put him in front of the Turtle Rock entrance. Then he mirrors, triggers the portal, then hops down to Catfish. That will be his best bet to get to Catfish at this point.
Yeah, this is only, I think, 3 checks that we haven't seen.
Yeah, something like that.
But if he does follow it all the way through to Catfish, and that is really good for him, as you described.
Yes, like there's definitely some movement stuff that should theoretically make overworld glitches faster, but it also makes it faster for you to orphan a lot of things early on, since you have so much more that's available. So you'll quickly be presented with so many different options that it's really easy to get something lost.
Sort of like how Jedders here has, unfortunately, orphaned Catfish.
Okay, so he'll probably check this chest right here, X at the front, and clip down to Mimic Cave, which will not be very good for him. So we got a couple chests left in Mire, or one chest left in Mire. So Hospital, I cannot have the Fire Rod because Turtle Rock is the green pendant, and we need Fire Rod to get the green pendants.
Exact same reasoning that the Master Sword pedestal can't have the fire rod.
Hey, we got a blue rupee. Yep, so I sure hope Jedders decides to clip down rather than clip to Mimic Cave.
Well, moment of truth once he activates the portal and takes it back to the Dark World here.
Yeah, what would be extra painful is that fire rod was in Mimic Cave. To go with that, alright, he's gonna catfish. And Mimic Cave is yet to be seen.
Okay, so this will put Jedders in almost the same state as Hacksaww. You'll have to get the Desert and Misery Mire clears, but he can get that.
Then I don't know if there's still items on Helmosaur or Arma.
I don't either, I'm afraid. And yeah, Jedders taking that medallion right to Misery Mire. Unfortunately, we know that it's not going to be here because we just saw Hacksaww do it, but so it goes. Now let's see how Jedders chooses to route Misery Mire. Hacksaww got the big key on the bridge, went straight to the boss. Wouldn't be surprised to see the same here, but any number of options open to him. He can do this basically however he wants.
Okay, so after these checks, what do we have left?
I'm trying. I can't think of any. Actually, I can think of one place besides the Mimic Cave. There's the Checkerboard Cave. I don't think we've seen from either of them yet because
We
how
saw
late the gloves
Checkerboard
were.
Cave. Hacksaww did have gloves his first time in my area.
Oh, he did. I completely forgot about that.
There is Spike Cave. There is GT Tower Room.
And then there's also potentially Eastern Palace and Palace of Darkness. And really, it's just a bunch of gross one-offs.
Okay. Hacksaww remembered that he forgot to finish off Desert Palace, so might as well get that crystal since we need it. Bumper Cave, we've already checked the item and it was junk. I think it was a piece of art, if I remember correctly.
That sounds right, yeah. Thanks to the moving wall cutscene, we're actually going to have Jedders enter Vitreous before Hacksaww gets into Lanmola's. So, for the briefest of moments, they'll both be on 5 crystals.
And not too shortly after, we'll see Jedders on.
Yeah, that difference is going to last like 3 seconds, if that.
Yeah. So we might see Hacksaww hop into... Well, we might not see him hop into T-Rock at this point. There's only 2 extra chests he can check now, since he's already done Laser Bridge.
And the answer, chat, we've seen everything in Pod except for the Helmasaur King himself.
Yeah, Pod had Hookshot that opened up the rest of the seed for us.
Well, opened it up in combination with that hammer in Ganon's Tower.
Yeah.
Which, worth noting, the reason we haven't seen Helmasaur King yet is because both runners went into Pod before they went into Ganon's Tower and got that hammer.
That, and it was a pendant, so... Kind of... Oh yeah, I forgot about Hera Basement.
Oh yeah, that is a location. Both of these runners were forced to isolate it early on because they didn't have the lamp or the fire rod. But that really just adds to what I said earlier about all they really have left is a bunch of really gross one-off isolated checks.
Alright, looks like Hacksaww took a quick break while letting entire room do it.
I absolutely do not blame him. If I can not have to do this room, or if I can do literally anything else while doing this room, I will. And now let's see how it goes. Will this be it?
Poor Stoffos. And magic to use the fire rod.
I guess now his next best check is probably just hopping down to Spike Cave while he's up here, because he's not really ever going to be closer to it.
Spike Cave, Mimic Cave. I forgot no, we wouldn't have seen the big key. Big key would have been... Big key in Turtle Rock is fire rod locked, so nothing in big chest, as far as we're concerned. Yep, K45 was checked pretty early on during the initial checks, since we have immediate access to that.
Yep. Overworld glitches put a lot of obscure glitchless checks into the so-called Sphere 1 for this category.
Alright, we are going to check out Helmasaur and possibly Arma.
I don't think Armos is an item, because I remember, I think it was Hacksaww milked out of Eastern Palace on his first dip immediately after getting the big chest, which indicates to me that it's Map and Compass in the vanilla big key chest and Armos.
Fair point.
But that still leaves Helmasaur. Also for chat, yeah, everything in the graveyard has already been checked. Turtle Rock has actually been checked to the extent that they can without the fire rod, which is basically everything except the big chest, because the big key is on the 2 fire rod lock chests and those 2 right side fire lock chests. But Mimic Cave has not been checked, and that's one of the gross out of the way locations that they can get to.
And it'll likely be the next place Hacksaww checks at this point. Probably do that and then do Tile Room and GT.
Yeah, I can't think of any other ones he has left besides those 2, so it's got to be them in some order, I think.
Yep, and then by following logic, he knows that Fire Rod isn't going to be in that roller room behind the big key door. Unless I got put into logic.
That would only be in logic if the laser bridge entry itself is in logic, right?
Correct. Basically, if you can do it in the overworld, it's allowed. If you do something major in the dungeons or caves, it's not allowed. The list is kind of big. So like the most common one is you'll see what's called a boot clip and a super speed, or use boots and then a bunch of right and dash buffers at the same time to exit or to clip into these walls and you get teleported. I missed the item on.
It was just triple bombs.
Wow. Anyway, so you'll see people clip into that like Jedders is doing right now. And then heads down. You can pop around like that. Super speed clips, you can just kind of walk right past that. Hacksaww is heading into Eastern.
Okay, maybe there is an item left and he just didn't feel like doing that in the dark. Can't necessarily blame him as early as it was.
Yes, like Mimic Cave would be the least out of the way at this point.
But with the rest of TR done, more or less, it is still out of the way.
Yeah. Less out of the way than Tower Room.
Also, yeah, both runners had bow the first time they came into Eastern Palace because the first bow was in sync.
Not sure what Jedders just did there, but okay. I mean, so I also don't blame them for not going to the boss, like, for these pendant dungeons.
Yeah, with Pendant Turtle Rock, that removes the possibility of Fire Rod being on the Master Sword pedestal, so the only reason to actually kill Pendant bosses is if they have an item, which we did see Helmasaur had one, and I'm assuming Armos has one if Hacksaw's coming back for it.
Because I remember Hacksaww actually going all the way to Big Key Chest. Tower Room was not an option for them when they were in G, since they did not have the cane at that time.
And the cane was very much behind the hammer, so definite double dip required if it is Tile Room.
Yeah, so it was a forced double dip for this particular case.
And, well, at this point, we do have both runners on 6 crystals, just looking for that Fire Rod to go finish off Skull Woods and clean up this seed.
Ashrod Cave had the magic powder for us today.
Yeah. Unless we're both missing something, the possible locations are down to Mimic Cave and GT Tile Room. And then Jedders has a few additional checks he's yet to make on top of that.
Oh, that's right. He still hasn't checked out Catfish. Forgot about that Catfish. Zora. But Hacksaw's going straight to Tower Room this time.
Yeah, I think Jedders came to Zora's domain area super early in the seed, but so early that he didn't have 500 rupees to pay for it.
Yeah, he was at a low 300 at that point. And then he soft lock out right afterwards, either way.
Well, here's the tile room check. Strap in for, what, about 45 seconds?
Yeah, so if Jedders goes to Mimic Cave instead, Mimic Cave is the one with the fire rod. This will be the one thing that puts... This will be his one last chance to actually put him into the lead.
Oh. He's on the mountain. Let's see where he actually goes.
He's entering it rap, so he's going to G.
Yeah, well, tile room does turn out to be the correct play. An hour, 49, and about 5 seconds, and Hacksaww is in go mode with 6 crystals. Unfortunately for Jedders, he's making the Spike Cave play. So he's probably going to save and quit out of this, and then we'll see where he goes afterwards. Hopefully for him it is the tile room.
Yeah. But still a fairly close race at the end of it. He's going to take advantage of his wrapped state and go straight to GT.
Oh, that's really good for him then, because that's the right answer. So yeah. Unfortunately, not much of an opportunity left for him to make up this time difference of a couple minutes, but can still make a much closer race out of it than it otherwise could have been if he went elsewhere.
Definitely. Overworld glitches means we're allowed to skip any boundaries on the overworld. Basically anything that's not inside a dungeon, not inside a cave, or inside a house, to let us go places.
Primarily, you'll see that in the form of the fancy clips like Jedders was doing while you explain that, and to get his way into Ganon's tower. But a couple other fun things you can do too, like using the mirror while screen transitioning. And you can even do a couple things with bottles, although I don't think those are especially valuable for the randomizer logic in most cases.
Yeah, for the logic itself, no, but it does let you easily skip myths for smiths. Or skip myths, yeah, myths for smiths.
And here's Hacksaww dropping into his 7th crystal fight. Gold Sword should have that fairly shortly. Yeah, that's a quick Mothula kill.
And there we go, Jedders at 151.23 for gold mode, but that fired in top.
That puts him about 2 minutes and 20 seconds behind, and then all he'll have to do is similarly get over to the back of Skullwoods, put a few swords in Mothula, and go kill Ganon. Because we've already cleared Ganon's tower, killed Aghanim 2, the hole in the top of the pyramid is open. All Hacksaw's got to do is get over there.
Dang, I was hoping Hacksaww would have run over to the front of Turtle Rock, do a clip from the back of Pyramid to land into the hole. And somehow not get Houlihan Room by adjusting things just right. But, oh well.
With how gross this seed has been at running these guys around, I wouldn't even complain if it ended with somebody trying to clip in and getting Houlihan. That would just sum up the quality of the seed itself.
Oh yeah. It was a great seed to watch though.
Yeah, definitely entertaining, definitely showed off a lot of glitches and a lot of ways that I'm sure a lot of these viewers haven't seen before, just because Overworld glitches is a lot less common of a category for randomizer than the glitchless logic we've got a tournament for right now. But
So you know, back when they first entered GT, we were joking about how bad it would be if something was cane locked in GT afterwards.
I may have said something like that. The problem is that we immediately said it's got to be the fire rod because of what else we didn't have at that point, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, because at that point, I think we were just missing Kane and Fire Rod. Kane was in the back of Swamp.
The left side of Swamp was just that red mail that Hacksaww has that Jedders does not. And yeah, chat calling this Ganon fight a formality. You can see Hacksaw's already on the last phase, so that's a pretty good word for it.
Poor Ganon does not stand a chance. And there's that force. GG's to Hacksaww.
Yep, just got to clear everyone's mortal enemy, the 3x1 bridge. And that's Hacksaww finished with a time of 1:54.23. So GG to him. Meanwhile, Jetter's getting his 7th crystal. All he's got to do is get over to that Ganon hole, fall in, and do the same thing we just saw Hacksaww do. He won't be very far behind at all.
Yeah. So that was a nice near 100% seed, 99%.
Yeah, just looking over the tracker, we're missing a shovel and a bug net. And that's it. And I think we saw the bug net somewhere and they just didn't grab it.
Yep, we saw a bug net somewhere. And pretty soon we'll get Jetter's fun, Ganon fun.
While he makes his way over there, though, I just want to say I love the hammer dash animation. It just looks really, really smooth.
The only thing to be careful with when you do super speed up the pyramid to Ganon's hole is sometimes you can mess up your screen just enough that you actually fall in Hula Hand Room, which is super speed alone. It's kind of funny and heartbreaking at the same time whenever that happens.
Okay, didn't actually know that one, but that's actually really funny. Jedders is in the Ganon fight, got his 6 hits with the Gold Sword on phase 1. Getting a lot more than 6 hits on this phase, just bullying poor Ganon while he can't even do anything except spin his trident. And there's phase 3.
Alright, /3. And fake out for 4. And there we go, there's number 4.
Got a nice silverless slash in there after lighting the torch. And there's Ganon dead.
And GG to Cheddar. Ganon just didn't really stand much of a chance. And we've got Cheddar's official SRL race time of 1 hour 57 minutes and 38 seconds. GG's to both runners. We're going to try to get them both in for some interviews really fast and then go from there. Yeah, while we wait for them to hop on, it was a lot of fun. We do have a special Discord for just the glitch modes in general that's outside the main one that we use to coordinate different servers, as well as try to get some training and stuff going on. So you're always more than welcome to, if you're interested in this sort of thing, to go ahead and Overworld glitches really isn't as scary as it looks when you're going through the lot. You just the thing that tends to be trickier on these glitch modes once you learn your way around with this is just how to effectively chain things together, since there's so many more options and so many more combinations than you're used to.
And we are now joined by our two racers, Hacksaww and hXcjedders. GG's to both of you. Good race, less good seed. What do you think?
I don't like that fire rod placement.
22. Dude, Jedders, GG, man. That was fun.
GG. Yeah. How long were you looking for fire rod? Because I think I was looking for it for like 40 minutes.
That sounds about right.
The only thing, like, I was like an hour 15, and the only thing I was missing was ether and fire rod. And ether was eluded me for a while because of the way I routed. I kind of isolated catfish, so it took me a while to get there.
Yeah, I think Hacksaww had that before entering GT. You both were in about the same time as well in GT.
Yeah, I tried to loop as much stuff together as I could, especially with that early mare. That made things really nice.
Yeah, I went from I did a mirror for Pyramid Fairy, and then I went to Pod after, so that's why I never went to Catfish, because I already did Pod. So, yeah.
Yeah, I actually ended up going back and beating Pod and Eastern, just looking for that fire rod. I'm pretty sure the Tower Room's last location. I could be wrong there.
Mimic Cave?
Mimic Cave was last location. Tower Room was second to last.
Yeah. I still had a few isolated locations left on my list. I had Helmosaur. I had the back half of Eastern, which had one item. And then I had Thieves Town Big Chest and Mimic Cave.
Yeah, I think once Hacksaw cleared out Desert for his 6 crystal, we could come up with like 4 or 5 different locations, and they were all about as spread out from each other as could possibly be for where that fire rod was.
Yep. Yeah, basically, the way I thought about it was I prioritized stuff I hadn't checked versus stuff I left behind. So after that was just when I was going to start going back to what I left behind. But luckily it was in Tile Room, and I didn't have to go start digging like Thieves Town Big Chest.
Yeah. Yep, that was a nice forced double dip into GT.
Yeah, and that hammer placement too. That was magic.
It's awful having to make that dip when you can't even clear one in the sun.
Yeah, like if I get to the point where I can get in GT and I don't have many other places to go, I'll do that dip with just the 3 spots, but there's just so much other stuff we could do the whole time. It's like, how do you put off 10, 15 items in one other direction to go get 3?
Yeah. Did you also leave behind South Shore for the longest time? Because I didn't check Mini Moldorm Cave until like an hour 20 or something like that.
No, I got it at like 20 minutes. I accidentally left the dam behind though until I went to swamp.
Yeah. I'll tell you, in races, you think, a little mistake here, a little mistake there might not matter. But I think it would have been super close had I not hardlocked doing Zora DMA.
Oh yeah, I remember
'Cause
that.
I lost a few minutes to that.
Oh, that would have made it real close. Wow.
The good news is that was the only hard lock of the seed. I think Hacksaww tried to do the magic bat wrap and he already had the flippers, so you had to save and quit out of that. But overall, fairly clean execution on the glitches from both of you. Showed them off really well, I thought.
Jedders, I think your last time into Ice Palace, I think you're on the last pixel before you soft lock in that mirror.
Yeah, I was nervous about that. Because I was right before I went to do Swamp, I was like, wait, should I go save and quit? Because my plan was to go to Swamp and then straight to Ice afterwards. And I was like, yeah, it should be fine. So luckily I didn't hardlock, because if I hardlocked there, that would have been an insane loss, because I have no idea when the last time I had saved was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one thing that was kind of like in the back of the mind the whole time. It was like, at any point, if we do anything that hard locks, we're going to lose a ton of time, because there was just the routing, like it just flowed. There was flow. You didn't have to go save and quit every 5 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I thought about it when I was towards the end. I was like, man, I really haven't save and quit much this seed. But
I think that's what an early Moon Pearl mirror flute altogether. I mean, flute's not the most useful thing in overworld glitches, but it definitely facilitates travel in ways that you normally use save and quits for.
that is one of the situations where flute is useful, is when you get it that early.
I'm sorry for Pearl being there too in Kakariko. I know you wanted the late Pearl for the to show off the other shenanigans.
Yeah, late Pearl would have been awesome, but it's okay.
Yeah, for these sorts of things where you're showing off glitches, it's definitely more fun to have a late Moon Pearl.
I gotta know though, did you do the Bolus GT?
No, I had bow for the longest time.
You had bow, but you still clipped everything.
Yeah, I still mimic clip just for the heck of it, but yeah, bow was in Sank, so yeah.
You automatically win just for that.
Yeah, I wanted to show off mimic clip, so I had some fun with that.
You showed it off so hard, you put the mimics in the big Kedor room. I'd never seen that before. That was kind of fun.
Oh yeah, that's my little meme thing. I if you just walk to the right, you can pull him back out of the wall and then kill him anyway.
That's amazing.
But yeah, GT had some mean tricks, because it really wasn't, like very tantalizing to go to GT without the hammer. But I was starting to run out of places. I'm like, GT probably has the hammer, and sure enough, it was there.
Yeah, I think by the time that both of you bottlenecked on it, the only real outstanding other options were first chest of Swamp Palace and like 3 or 4 chests in Ice Palace. And I think that was really it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like at that point, it's easier to get into GT than it is to get into either one of the other two. So GT is a pretty easy play at that point.
And then the fact that you had to get Hammer to get the cane meant you would have had to double dip GT, and going back to Tile Room is just for Tile Room is just not a big sale.
Yeah, that was pretty mean. I would like to have a few words with whoever rolled that seat.
I think he's sitting right here in this channel.
He is. Whoever that guy is, I hope he eats a tortilla chip vertically.
Wow. Okay, so we just got confirmation that the next run is ready to go. Any final thoughts before we hand it over?
I mean, it was overall a couple of nasty surprises, but overall pretty solid seed.
Yeah, it was a decent seed. That fire rod was trolled, but it is what it is. I mean, I roll garbage. What can I say? I just want to say thanks, JC. Thanks, Reg, for commentating on last minute. Whoever stepped in tracking, thank you. And thank you all the people out there watching. You guys make the show worth doing. You guys make it awesome.
Yep, and thanks for offering to fill in to do this race just last minute as well. It's like we had to find some things to fill some time really fast for Earthbound coming up next. So it's nice that we had yet another showcase of Overworld glitches before we had to.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure, dude.
Yep, thanks a lot, everybody.
And for all of you out there in chat, if you want more Link to the Past action, the Glitchless Logic tournament started today. Will be going on for the next however long. So you can look for that. Otherwise, stick around for an Earthbound run coming up next on this very channel. For now, I've been Reg, my partner tonight's been JC, and we will see you guys around.
See ya.